I once witnessed a argument in public because a guy brought his full-ass gaming laptop, not gaming laptop, desktop, to the coffee shop to play Diablo 3 and was like getting in way too into it, and the coffee shop got really busy. And I asked him to leave, and he had a heated gaming moment screaming at them. It was so good to behold.
That sounds like the worst scenario to witness.
It is on one hand nightmarish, but on the other hand, it was extremely funny to watch a heated gaming moment go down.
I'm looking through, as a person who makes incredibly good decisions, I'm looking through the Steam review page and just searching on BattleTech and searching for the word gender.
Oh man, you are currently mid-warp of your brain.
Holy shit, this one's bad. Holy hell. I found one that is just completely off its rocker.
I want to major in that in college and looking up Steam reviews with the word gender. That's all I want.
This fucking review doesn't even say anything other... Look, I'll show you. Well, we should save this for our bit where we go to the salt mines. But, like, look at this fucking review.
That is among the most exhausting reviews I ever did see.
Exactly. It goes so in-depth into the nuances of the game. Anyway, do you guys want to just get started?
I'm ready. I've been ready.
Alright, I'm ready. I am full of drugs and power.
Drugs of power.
Drugs and power.
Alright. Hello everyone, and welcome to Video Games Are the Worst Thing on Earth. I am your host, Alton. With me, as always, is Reese.
Yo, what up? I'm here, talking. I'm talking over Alton. I'm not done yet with my intro. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Reese. And today we have a very special guest with us, Roxanne. Thank you for joining us.
Hey friends, it's Roxanne.
Yeah, she just woke up, so we're gonna have...
You're gonna get some really good energy. You're gonna get some fucking premium choir teacher level energy.
This is the take level. This is gonna be a pure, uncut take from Roxanne. Just 90 minutes of pure take.
Raw take. Yeah, the rest of the episode.
This is real shit that the government doesn't want you to know about. Listen here, folks. I don't know where that joke was gonna go, but it probably was just going to, reference that fucking frog vine. Because, again, the chemicals in the water vine is the funniest joke. There's been no better joke since then.
That's the thing that makes it a good joke, though, is the fact that he's sincere. Or at least pretends to be sincere.
What is this joke?
This is the Alex Jones joke where they're putting chemicals in the water to make the freaking frogs gay.
I remember this now.
Yeah.
There are so many good Alex Jones moments. To me, everything is drowned out by him screaming goblins. That was a real turning point in my ideological education.
Caught him in bed with a goblin.
Yeah.
The worst.
Anyway, we have a bunch of really great things to talk to you about today.
Before we get to those, can I bring up one thing?
What's up?
My tongue is fucking shredded from those Sour Patch Kids still.
Oh my
and
God.
I would like everybody to know that
Oh my God.
I am podcasting at half-mast because my tongue is totally numb. Everything I've eaten has tasted weird. My mouth is really dry for some reason. This is easily the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And a lot of terrible things have happened to me.
Okay, so Roxanne is basically asleep. Reese has
Don't you ever tell me that I'm asleep again. I will.
She will.
I will.
She will. Okay, and then Reese is going to have his fucking tongue rot off like halfway through this episode. I'm the only one here who is both awake and not afflicted by some sort of gummy candy based affliction.
It's gonna be great. We're gonna get that good content out there.
Getting the best content. The
You know what's a
bone.
really good way to start a podcast?
What's that?
Apologizing.
I think that's great. I apologize to both of you for gaming, for tweeting, for just embracing the term content like it's something that normal people call what they make.
God, same.
Nice.
I've just totally internalized it
I
now.
have a lot of things to apologize for as well. I'm sorry to all the listeners that I'm so sexy and that I've never done anything wrong that I can apologize for. I feel really bad about it. And I'm also sorry that I snuck the hypnosis into this episode to make you eat pogs or something.
Eat porgs.
Shoutouts to Pogs.
Shoutouts to porgs.
Shoutouts to Pogs.
Anyway, let's get back on track. We have a lot of things to get through this episode, and I don't know if we're going to get to it if we keep on goofing around. This is a show free of goofs, by the way. No goofs.
We've never made a joke in our lives.
Free of goofs, free of anything but video game content.
So we have a lot of things we could cover. So, Reese, you had a thing you wanted to cover for Far Cry 5?
Yeah, just real quick, I know that neither of you played Far Cry 5, but I enjoy the series well enough, even though every negative thing ever said about it is true. I do enjoy the kind of weird chaos in it, though. You know, I booted up a game a couple days ago, and I just started at the intersection. And within 5 minutes, just like 8 different acts, like separate acts of violence occurred, of just like vehicles crashing into each other, just a helicopter firing missiles, a bear attack, people coming out of the woods with guns. And it's just like, that's just the normal game. It's just an open world game, just like unmitigated chaos, and I enjoy that. One thing it was never going to be is a game with anything interesting to say about America or religion or anything like that. Every single one of the games before it has been extremely dumb, with unusually interesting villains for a video game. Oh, it's like, and for a video game is definitely the qualifier there. I think Pagan Min is probably the best character. I think Pagan Min actually has like a certain level of charisma. The guy from this one, Joseph Seed, who's like, basically the plot of the game is there's this cult in Montana. It's kind of like sort of Christianish. That you try to arrest the leader of the cult, and they just go on lockdown. They say it's the reaping or whatever. And they start ravaging the countryside for supplies. And you're basically there to liberate Montana, like the white people there liberated Montana from the Native Americans.
Right.
So basically, you know, there's not like too much to say about it, the actual plot, but there was an article by Holly Green from Paste Magazine, and she had, to me, is kind of like the definitive statement, and the article is called Far Cry 5 Offers No Insight into Christian Fundamentalism. And the article starts out describing the basic theme of the game, which is us versus them, as the kind of defining tone of American politics, creating this fear and pressure on all of us. She mentions in Waypoint, there was this whole article showing that it was kind of like, it's kind of privileged to be able to view American politics in that way. And the game does have interesting elements in its iconography, but it doesn't go anywhere with it. It's not about anything, and there's no chance in the game to engage or empathize, and thus it says nothing. And the crux of what Far Cry 5 misses, Holly argues, is that white America is already equipped with the tools for spiritual coercion and already uses them. And the fact explains more about the sudden rise of the alt-right and violent conservatism than initially meets the eye. She kind of goes into her first-hand experience. She's a pastor's daughter who grew up in the backwoods of Washington State, and Far Cry 5 doesn't seem anything like the rural separatism that I grew up with, reading from the article now. I can see certain markers in the game that I'm supposed to understand as Christian, but they don't align with what I know from personal history. Rather, the game seems to base its portrayal of the father which is the guy you arrest, and his acolytes on depictions of cults from pop culture, in turn influenced by John the Baptist of the 60s, wherein a gentle, attractive leader gathers followers on the merit of their feel-good message and charismatic public speaking skills. Add to that a pair of yellow-tinted aviator frames, and you have a contemporary take on an old hippie prophet stereotype, a hipster David Koresh. He's not exactly your average Christian preacher. Religious coercion and spiritual abuse, meanwhile, are one of the most common yet least talked about issues within conservative America. Looking at the history of the white Christian church gives insight not only into how it came to swing fundamentalist, but why it remains so popular despite its oppressive nature. Evangelicism are the roots of... Yes, I can talk. The roots of modern fundamentalism can be traced back to the Southern Baptist Convention, which, despite its egalitarian roots, split off from the greater Baptist denomination in the 19th century in order to accommodate and justify slavery. And to me, that's kind of the boldest part there that I find to be extraordinarily true, is that it's a game that can't say anything meaningful, because video games can't say anything meaningful about race. Otherwise, it would be like a total fucking meltdown.
Yeah.
From the conservatives in that. And I just wanted to get kind of like your thoughts. There's more to the article. I don't want to, but it's a little bit long.
Welcome to our article reading show, the show where we read articles for 5 hours. I think I've got something to add. I think that the crucial point here is that essentially it is a product of its environment, so to speak. So, Far Cry 5, obviously, a AAA game made by a huge dev team and an enormous publisher. And I think that in the AAA scene, more so than in any other corner of the gaming industry, games are not art, they are a product. Mm-hmm. And the further you get away from games as art, the less capable games are of being an art, the less capable it is of actually saying anything meaningful.
I agree wholeheartedly. And I think that there are artistic games that have said interesting things. Usually you have to download them from itch.io instead of Steam. They're very uncommon, but I have played, I think Kitty Horror Show has like very interesting kind of like impressionistic
Night in the Woods.
Exactly, Night in the Woods.
Yeah. But the whole thing I'm trying to argue is that this corporate structure of AAA gaming is exactly what would prevent it from like taking any risks whatsoever, which as a sort of, even though it's been around for like 40, 50 years, gaming as an industry is like still considered like fledgling, because it's still not given like the sort of artistic respect other mediums are given, because anytime people try to incorporate art, and try to incorporate politics or like a broader message about society, or anytime someone tries to read that from video games, they get shouted down by the fucking man children living in their basement being like, keep your politics out of my video games.
Also, I wish that just in general that the games that people were more welcoming to weird experimental garbage with video games. Like, I mean, that's just like a personal thing because, hey, BoxerWatch, itch.io. But the thing is that I just am a really big fan of like weird experimental and for the most part shitty video games where it's just like I do a lot of stuff with puzzle script when I made games, and unfortunately those days are just been a while. And every video, if you played any like video game that was like had a budget of more than like $10 million for a console, then odds are it's completely interchangeable because it's a first-person shooter where you shoot with the R trigger and everything's like, it's just functionally the same game mechanically,
I agree wholeheartedly. And, I think like at its core, games as a hobby. People play games for different reasons. I don't think you're inherently a bad person for wanting to play interchangeable first-person shooters.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying.
I think that it is bad, and I think the people who do are in fact bad, and you should feel bad.
Well, if you like Overwatch, I'm gonna fucking steal your lunch money.
Yeah,
that
nerd.
Listen, that was implied. That was implied, but I was trying to be gracious. But since it's out, anybody who plays any game are bad because video games are bad. The worst thing ever.
Incorrect.
Yes.
The weird game I made for the Starman.net theory contest a couple of Halloweens ago, where it's about the boss in Mother 3 that's just a big pile of garbage.
Well,
this is Forlorn Junk Heap Has a Rich Private Life, or some shit was the name of it, and it was my finest work that I've ever made in about half an hour, and I got second place.
Damn.
And I have a little badge on this forum I haven't really used since then.
Well, you should link that, and we'll put it in the show notes.
I will link my great itch.io bullshit, and I will also,
The final point I kind of want to make with all of this is that while there have been some successful games, like touching on like certain interesting artistic elements, what I think is especially a void in gaming is anything tackling race with anything approaching intelligence or grace. You know, the best like kind of bigger examples are nightmares like BioShock Infinite, or like the Deus Ex, the new Deus Ex games that are trying to equate being a cyborg with like being a minority, which fails for reasons that we won't dig into here. The only thing that like sort of works is Mafia 3, but only because it has a point of view on race, even though if it doesn't really engage or have any insight there either, at least it's like revolutionary to just have like a black man and his blackness be an element of it.
Revolutionary new game feature.
A black man.
That should be on the box. That should be on the back of like the box. You know how they've got like for Xbox games like co-op, single player, multiplayer, black man.
Well, that's probably, and people will get angry and want Steam refunds once they find out about that. Probably.
I'm gonna just. I hate to go on a tangent, but we need to have more games with like sim style, like slider, like meters where you have to make sure everything's at a decent level. We need to have that, but I mean for the most weird asinine garbage. Like there's no hunger or thirst meter. It's like
hugs. How many hugs have you had?
Not enough.
Not enough?
Not enough from my father. That's a slider that's way down low.
Approval from parents. It's going into the red there.
French fry intake.
French fry intake?
Yeah, that's a good one.
And if you've taken the racist trait, it's changed to freedom fry intake.
If you have to the racist, you take the racist class, like everything changes, and just like employment meter, your employment meter is changed with like immigrants taking your job meter.
Little did we know that this was going to turn into a game dev podcast.
Yeah.
Here we are.
That was inevitable.
We're the sequel to Cool Games Inc. Nick Robinson, get the fuck out.
Well, that's unfortunate because I was just about to surprise you guys with the new guest of the show, Nick Robinson.
Back from his Twitter exile to get angry that Samus is a woman.
Yeah. Oh
no, he wasn't
Nick
angry.
Robinson.
He was just a creep.
He was sliding into people's DMs and being a creep. He was
just like fucking multi-track drifting into people's DMs. It was creepy and bad.
Yeah, and it's so fucking shitty because like there are so many things that they were making with the Good Boys McElroy. And it's just like, well, those are all gone now. Thanks, Nick, you perv.
Well, no. The Gil and Gilbert is one of the things they do on Polygon. And it's great because they had a stream where they did ASMR.
Oh, and,
wow. It was great.
We should do that. That's what I consider this podcast ASMR above all.
Now,
There's nothing stopping me from just like.
I don't know if anyone can actually hear that. It's probably not even going to get picked up because I've got filters on.
I heard you.
We're going to move into our next segment. We're going to be reading out some comments left on Steam.com.
Let me just dig in the box full of comments.
This is a new segment. This is a new segment called the Salt Mines, where we find salty things. Yeah, that gamers have said, and that there's no salt more salty than the stink raised about a new game called BattleTech. We've spoken about it before, but there's more stuff.
We still think it's funny, so we're still going to talk about it.
Yes.
Alton, can you tell the viewers how you found many of these comments you're about to read? Because I think that is hilarious.
So I first found out about it on Twitter, obviously. People like taking the best ones and screenshotting them and then sharing them because they're like, normal gamers are normal. And then I was like, I have to see this for myself. As an investigative journalist, I have to
That's someone who documents jars, right?
Yeah, journalist.
Provides all the hot scoops on jars.
Anyway, I scoop the hottest objects into jars, including my own piss. Anyway, just putting that in there.
I'm gonna fight you in the street, but continue.
You're gonna what?
Fight you in the street.
Oh, cool, awesome. Anyway, I looked at the BattleTech page and I just was like, negative reviews, and then I just searched for the word gender.
It's excellent.
Yeah, it's really normal how people get so bent out of shape about them adding like one option in character creation that there is like a contingent of people just trying to review bomb it for that.
My favorite thing are people who are like, oh man, they made it so, they have the fucking they pronouns and whatever, but the game isn't optimized because I'm not able to run it on my ThinkPad from 1864.
I would like to read the first one, Alton, if I may.
You may.
From William. Unfinished piece of heart, blanked out word, cuss word, game, with the graphics of games from the early 2000s. All the backstory seems well made and great, but lacking in gameplay just makes it a tragic experience. New paragraph. Also, these clowns haven't noticed that there is only 2 genders! ! And to me, one of my favorite things in online is switching the caps in the second half of his sentence for emphasis. So thank you, William.
To be fair, the thing is that changing the caps in a sentence to the moment you're about to say something vile, rather than just having it being in all caps or all properly capitalized, is garbage. You have to be like me and just capitalize midway through one of the final words in the sentence because you get really excited.
I respect that.
That's
honestly, though, what I respect the most is typing in all caps.
I agree.
It's the only way to type, as far as I'm concerned, and the only reason I don't do it to Alton and Roxanne constantly is because they have threatened to block me and report me.
I have not done such a thing. I just politely ask for you to use your inside voice when you're talking to me online.
Fair enough.
I've already blocked and reported Reese. This conversation hasn't. I've never actually been able to hear him during
You've
this
been
entire.
You've your way pretty great throughout this entire convo.
Yeah, I know, right? I can't hear Reese, and it's been a guessing game trying to think of what he might be talking about. But I know Reese pretty well, so let me know how I'm doing in the comments.
I mean, even before he blocked me, he never listened to me. So it's
yeah. Now, Reese
easy.
Is saying I never listened to him. That's true. That's my guess. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I got it on. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. What's the most funny one? The funniest one I want to save for last, maybe.
Can I read applied for refund?
Sure.
Applied for refund. There's a much longer detailed review here, but Steam did not allow me to post it. I may consider buying the game for a very low, abysmally low price from a key seller. from my point of view, the amount of political correctness present here kills the game, kills the franchise, goes directly against a very important part of BattleTech narration. You take the story out by warping it so it's not really a story, but a list of progressive feats. What's left is pretty repetitive battles. And it's like, what the fuck is Warframe? Like I thought we were talking about Warframe this entire time. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't care about this game, then bought the game specifically to hate review it.
Pretty much. I mean, all these reviews that are like under 2 hours are under 2 hours because they can get a Steam refund after like before 2 hours of gameplay. And here's one of my favorites. Oh, there's a lot to unpack here, but I'm just gonna dig right in. This comes to us from Molestia.
We're off to just the worst imaginable start. Like, you're starting with the fucking Jason obliterating your go-kart. Continue.
It would be an okay game for me, but is full of SJW garbage. Not a single white male main character. Not a single one. Wow. Thanks, Obama.
37 hours.
37 hours, yeah.
Are you implying we found Jordan Peterson's Steam account?
Jordan Peterson, understandably, is a horny brony from 2015.
Yeah.
We live in the darkest timeline, and every day I pray for the speed release of death.
Oh, that would. Oh, I'm just gonna try and like come up with something that Jordan Peterson say. Spike is in the series represents the average male's consistent humiliation and degradation in the series. They don't take him seriously. They constantly make fun of him, and at one point, Twilight Sparkle tries to replace him with an owl. An owl! That's not even as close to being as cool as a lobster.
I'm gonna post it on YouTube.
I hate myself because of how much I recognize. Like, you made me go into like kind of like a Matrix or like Highlander quickening sequence where I remembered all of my high school shame. And yeah, fuck you.
You're welcome. Anyway, I wanted to read out one last review. This is probably the best one. I don't know if someone else wants to take the honors. Who would you like to read it, Reese?
I would love to read it.
Go ahead.
From Nikki Enters Shadow. Not recommended, 2.6 hours on record. Quote, they, unquote. 8 people found this review helpful. 2 people found this review funny.
The thing is that if that was like, that's most of my posts are just like a picture of like a pronoun like in that tense. And then like a picture of fucking Kirby. So it's just like they, and then an ellipses that goes on for like 3 line breaks.
Oh,
and
man.
it's just a picture of like Waddle Dee.
So are you proposing that this guy could possibly be upset that BattleTech does not feature Kirby?
Yes, absolutely. Because
I'm upset about that now.
I'm upset by this news. Like, this is news to me. This is bullshit.
I can't believe they didn't put Kirby in the BattleTech game. Fucking, they just 0 out of 10. Don't buy it.
Is there Steam Workshop support? Can we put Kirby in the game?
I don't think so.
Oh, God damn it.
Garbage. We'd have to hack it.
Activate Kirby.
Look,
Video
the funniest
games are
thing,
the worst thing on earth.
They are. But look, the funniest thing about this review by Nikki and Shadow is that they paid it for 2.6 hours. They didn't get a fucking Steam refund.
$40.
Eat it, bitch. It's pouring $40 to own the libs. Good job, man. Good job.
I mean, the game has been...
I like to imagine that he was like, he set a timer, but he was actually enjoying himself a lot, and he was like, yeah, 5 more minutes. And then he just kept going, though. He just kept going and going until eventually he checked the time, and he was like, over 2 hours left, and he just rage left it a good review.
So,
or rage left it a this review.
Just to confirm, I looked it up. Valve will, upon request, issue a refund for any reason if the request is made within 14 days or the title has been played for less than 2 hours. Sucks to suck, Nikki.
I'm gonna see if he's played it anymore.
Nah, that's a fresh screenshot.
Oh, fresh. Okay.
Hot off the printing
right off
pressings.
the vines. Like pizza rolls right out of the microwave.
Right out the oven.
What's funny is that this campaign to review bomb it and to like freak out about it has done absolutely nothing to affect its sales. It's like a huge hit. It's still mostly positive on Steam, and it's just like goes to show that these like little hissy fits that they throw, like the white supremacists boycott Star Wars, is that like it just doesn't matter at all. It's like 99% of people just like do not pay attention to these idiots, and it just is either successful or not successful based on whatever the whims of Steam Marketplace and whatever else comes out. So I find it to be extremely funny the way that these people are like, we're gonna exercise the power of the gamer. We're gonna review.
We're gonna tap into the power of the gamer. We've done it.
They've tapped into
We've ascended.
They've tapped into a raw vein of inselanium, and they're making it work for all its might.
They found a pillar of it underground, praise be to the miners. And the issue is, though, is that eventually they mined too deep, they got too greedy, and just led to hell.
Pretty much.
A portal opened and Ian Miles Cheong came out.
Oh,
I don't understand any of these great Twitter references, but I'm really glad you guys are having a good time.
I'm kind of jealous that you, as a person, do not know who fucking Ian Miles Cheong is.
He's the guy who everyone inexplicably associates with ants, right?
It's not inexplicably. His house is full of ants, and he has posted pictures on Twitter of like his house like crawling with ants. And he said that ants were coming out of his toilet. He said,
yeah, dude.
Yeah. So he is the Ant-Man of Twitter.
I mean, he's running out of places to store all those ants. He has to, get like a unit for them.
Yeah, I mean, he would honestly, it's free ants. He could have like one of those little, I don't remember what they're called, but
ant farm?
Oh yeah, just an ant farm. Just have like an ant farm in your house.
Just convert all of your windows into ant farms.
Everywhere.
All windows are ant farms now.
Everywhere except like just right around his gaming PC, or is it just like a 15-foot high pile of dirt where the ants live? It's just a massive ant farm. So I love this edition of Salt Mine. I look forward to bringing it back. Nothing is funnier than gamers who are mad at the video games that they play.
Nothing is more appreciated by us than gamers who are like, it's about their artistic freedoms, and then they just get so red mad nude online whenever there's like this is such like a token nod to like non-binary people. But it's just so funny because they're just losing their shit that like one slider. I mean, I don't even know what the rest of the story of this game is. I'm probably never going to buy it or play it because I don't strategy.
Again, I thought it was Warframe.
My understanding is that there is an element like the different nations of Earth, in the far-flung future, each have their own mechs. So that means that there is a certain level of diversity baked into the lore, which I think fuels some of the comments here. They are certainly the most mad about anything trans-related, but that doesn't mean that the old vanilla standby of racism isn't cooking hot.
There is nothing hotter in the gamer's kitchen than the kettle full of racism.
Amen. Same for our kitchen. That's what we love.
Our kitchen, we keep all the racism in our factory.
True.
We found out that women respecting juice is an adequate substitute. I don't know why that joke is so funny to me.
Women respecting juice?
Women respecting juice. I don't understand any memes now, but that was one of them for a while.
I'm gonna look this up.
Women respecting juice.
You
drink it so you respect women.
That was one of the...
I found it.
Yeah, just be sure to make
this
it.
This will be the fucking cover of the,
yeah,
of the
that's
podcast.
Can you
for those who are wondering about what's the funniest goddamn thing I've ever seen, it is a professional wrestler who appears to be shotgunning about 4 or so cans of what I believe is Pabst Blue Ribbon. However, the Pabst Blue Ribbon is labeled "Respecting Women Juice," and the man is labeled me.
This was going to absolutely be one of these is going to be the cover. Of
No,
the episode.
replace women with Roxanne.
We might be able to get that done. We'll
okay,
see. We'll talk to our techs.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. So we've kind of touched on this. We could either talk. What do you want to talk about? We could talk about the Sonic 2 About Capitalism, a serious analysis by H. Bomber Guy, or we can talk about Space Station 13.
I don't know anything about Space Station 13. I know I pitched it earlier, but only now do I realize that I don't know dick about this.
Well, we can just have a Space Station 13 conversation.
That's fair.
Well, I don't know anything about it either, so it will be a very short conversation.
Well, just you've played it.
Yeah, but it was on the weird server that wasn't good.
It was on the Vore server.
Yeah, the Vore server.
The Vore server is
not reflective of the Space Station 13 experience.
I mean, it is and it isn't. I feel like
it's very reflective of a specific thing. Like it shows like what you can do if you believe hard enough, and what you can do with an atmospheric simulation game.
Well, Roxanne, can you give us an overview for the people who don't know what Space Station 13 is?
Space Station 13 is at its core a game about you're in a space station and you work in one of the various departments on the space station, such as engineering or botany or robotics, and all the other ones are for cowards. Oh, except for clown. You can be a clown in it, and that's really, really good. But what you do in it is you just work in the space station and you do your space station job. And it's a bit like Trouble in Terrorist Town in the sense that someone is chosen to be an adjective or an antagonist. I'm sorry. Someone just shared an extremely good image in the chat that's distracting my fucking Sailor Moon drinking a bottle labeled "Respecting Trans Women." I thought you should have let me finish.
I'm sorry.
I had a great idea. I was gonna go and describe like how it's basically Trouble in Terrorist Town, but with worse graphics and also a video game. But no, you go around sharing these really, really great respecting women memes.
You can still make the analogy.
Oh yeah, it's just Trouble in Terrorist Town, but with good graphics, and it's also a video game and not just kind of an exercise in getting yelled at by people who are overinvested in Gary's mod.
It is definitely, in some ways, stretches the definition of what a game is, but I think it's amazing in the same vein because of just the amount of chaos that comes from.
It's like Dwarf Fortress in the sense that it's like UI-wise extremely inaccessible, but is extremely good for generating stories. As
we found is that there's different servers with different levels of seriousness. The one I always played was the Something Awful server, which is just like anything goes so long as it's funny. So you couldn't just kill people, but if you killed people with a pie filled with cyanide filling and you threw it from very far away, and that's
got, like,
funny.
A 360 no scope with poisonous pie.
Exactly. That's funny, and it's just the amount of systems and the depths in it. You can do genetic engineering. You can hack a medical robot. So instead of healing the sick, it injects the sick with LSD.
Which is, by the way, I have, if you're listening, Denver healthcare system, I do have some ideas for you. I really think it's going to change the game. Just, be sure to email me, PayPal me $10 for buying drugs. Yeah.
And then there's the Vore server. It's like all the other Space Station 13 stuff. You can just grow weed in the botany labs, or it has like a very robust Vore system programmed into it specifically for the Vore crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that exists. I feel that is an important detail. An important detail to understanding what Space Station 13 is everything to everybody and nothing to no one at the same time.
To everyone, including people who have even more powerful opinions about centaurs than me.
I mean, and all those people are on the Space Station 13 Vore server.
Gonna redo every one of these respecting women memes, but just say centaurs, and then me.
You know what? You're right. I respect that. I was initially like, my opinions on taurs were like, I don't get it. Now it was like, I don't get it, but they're valid, but centaurs are bullshit. And now I realize that like, I still really don't fucking understand them, but they're all valid. And also the brave fucking Little Mermaid is a taur.
Oh, that's a woke take.
Fish
taur.
Is the fucking Ariel from The Little Mermaid is a taur. Don't at me. Actually, extremely at me. All of you cowards out there in the fucking viewing land, you at me. It's at snugcrow, one word, on Twitter, and you try and debate me on this. I will probably just get kind of nervous because of strangers interacting with me online, but it'll be great.
Well, we would like to plug Roxanne's new podcast, Fighting About Fish Tars.
Fighting Fish Tars.
Fighting Fish Tars is my favorite 90s anime.
With Roxanne and co-host Roxanne.
You.
Yes, co-host me, guest starring Alton as the voice of the fish tar.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, for the narrative segments.
Tar.
No, dude. Okay, Alton now. Do Jordan Peterson as a fish tar.
Oh my god.
Young guppies, they come up to me and they say, hey, I didn't think this joke through all the way. I just kind of thought of the noun replacement for young men, but...
Young guppies come up to me all the time and they say that they're being eaten by fish. And that's just our society doesn't respect them. And doesn't give them a place to hide from the fish. It's like, young man, clean up your seafloor.
You clean up, you're an enemy.
Clean, you're an enemy right now. No one's gonna clean, you're an enemy for you. The bottom half of my body represents the fish of chaos.
I'm sold. I'm posting all of these Jordan Peterson impersonations as real.
Yeah, exactly. Like, here's what we got to do. We got to get a waveform, and we got to have like important, meaningful quotes from Jordan Peterson. And fucking Alton just talking in the really, really good Jordan Peterson voice about like, hey, centaurs, y'all.
Yes.
Jordan Peterson destroys fish tars.
Hear me out. Hear me out on this. I really hate to keep on like beating the dead horse here, but no pun intended. Jordan P. Tarsub.
Ooh.
I think we have found our epilogue to this bit.
I will shatter your limbs upon the wheels of logic. All 4 of them because you are a horse.
Well, for the last 10 minutes, can we bring up the GTA 4 thing real quick?
Sure.
What's up with that?
In GTA 4, and it's not a big deal on its own, but it feeds into my conspiracy theory. In GTA 4, they just patched the game to remove some David Bowie songs and some other songs from the Russian stations. And they tried to put other songs in to kind of balance it out, but, you know, good David Bowie songs are tough to replace. And I remember something similar happening to Alan Wake, where the game went down for like a month because they lost the rights to the music, and they brought it back on with like some different music, some with the rights restored. And what I think what a lot of people don't kind of realize or like fully put into their brain is that the games that we get on Steam, etc., are licensed to us. We do not own these games. And at any time, Gabe Newell can decide that we don't deserve them and just pull the plug on our gaming experience. And I feel like the doomsday apocalypse for gamers is coming sooner than we think. I just wanted to know what you guys think of this. Do you feel the doomsday clock of gamers, like the sword of Damocles hanging above your head?
No, I don't actually, but only because I store like. You see, I have like a completely cool and good, like, neurotypical brain, which is like, hey, you have a bunch of old IDE drives lying around. Why don't you fill them up with, just kind of like extraneous information and books and video games that you like, and just kind of have them scattered about the floor of your room because you're lazy.
So are you saying that you are a doomsday prepper gamer?
I am, yes, basically. Now that I think about it, data hoarding, which is an extremely noble thing to do, is basically cyber prepping.
I really need to just stop for a second because I've just come up with a new concept. So you know how InfoWars extremely caters to like the doomsday prepper crowd by like selling brain pills and like water filters and shit like that?
Preach.
We need to create our own line of products which are for gaming doomsday preppers. We're like selling.
Hell yeah!
This nootropic will raise your gaming game up by at least 300%. Take a picture. Look at this picture. This is me 3 months ago. This is me today. As you can see, I'm 35% redder.
As you can see, I'm 35% redder because of how hard I've been gaming. I got out of breath because of an intense Overwatch sesh.
I didn't used to have heated gaming moments ever. Now I have them at least once, twice, 3 times a day, folks, and that's my guarantee to you. If you take my heated gaming pills, your game will heat up. You will not be able to go for 5 minutes without screaming the N-word at some 12-year-old across the pond.
I mean, the thing is about that is that the premise for, kind of like a over-the-counter drug that enhances your gaming experience. The issue with that is that that's most drugs.
Yeah, all drugs
like
do
most
that.
drugs. Like you could just just drink a bunch of caffeine, or just get vape with caffeine in it and nicotine, and just kind of destroy your body over the course of like 12 hours because you're going through maybe a rough time, and maybe you have to listen to the entire Waypoint Radio backlog, and yeah.
We have this great new product coming in for our gamers. It's something guaranteed to make your gaming sessions just a lot more chill, a lot more blissed out. It's called Heroin. Buy our gamer brand Heroin at the store.
It's just cut. This is 75% to strychnine, 10% heroin, 15% bone
concentrated power of will.
Yeah, and then we
nothing.
We use like old Gamer Grub. You remember Gamer Grub? We're gonna put that.
I do remember Gamer Grub.
My God.
We're gonna use that expired baggies of Gamer Grub and mix it with heroin.
That's really the food of the future. Is just like you're not allowed to leave your pod where.
I'm gonna have a pretty good take right now. Lunchables.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically Soylent but good.
Interesting take. Gamer Grub.
You
what were you gonna say, Reese? Give us your wisdom.
I was just gonna say that Gamer Grub mixed with heroin is absolutely what we're all gonna be subsisting on. There's gonna be a hamster bottle, just like with that crap oozing out of it. We're never gonna be allowed to our 10 by 12 cell, that's one wall of which is just a giant screen for gaming. The east wall is where
an advanced ventilation system so you can vape all day.
The west wall is the other screen where Ian Miles Chong gives you constant propaganda messages, like it's from V from Vendetta.
But the problem is he constantly contradicts himself within like a 24-hour basis. By the way, Gamer Grub is still around. I didn't think it would be, but it's still available. You can buy it on Amazon.
I want to know the Game Grub flavors.
Oh boy. All right, fine. I'll read out the Gamer Grub flavors to you. They have PB&J.
Gross.
They have barbecue.
Gross.
They have pizza.
Sin.
And s'mores.
Sin.
That's 75% gross.
S'mores are probably good, but then look at, like, they're just all balls. They're just different colored balls.
The PB&J is what's gross to me.
PB&J?
That is especially
The thing
vile.
is that s'mores is kind of the antithesis to Gamer Grub, is the issue. Gamer Grub is for people who, you know, just are indoors and, you know, they don't have friends they can cook with. So, you know, they just kind of, you know, eat like a Ziploc pouch full of raisins or whatever Gamer Grub is. S'mores, on the other hand, is the true prol and prim fucking snack of the ages. You just go, and, you know, go out camping with your bros and, you know, you just make some s'mores and, you know, maybe kiss, and it's great.
Making s'mores is really the opposite of being a gamer, because you're outside, and because you're playing with fire, you are actually living life to the fullest.
Some people were talking about it in one of my cool trans leftist discords I'm in, and they were talking about it a while ago. Gamer milk. It's milk, but caffeinated and carbonated.
Oh my fucking god.
That is what I come.
And on that bombshell, I think it's about time.
So, Roxanne, the people of the internet, can you repeat your Twitter where they can find you and check out your excellent brand?
Please send me kind messages. Don't send me mean messages. I'm sorry about yelling earlier. Just send me, like, I don't know, like cool pictures of horseshoe crabs, or perhaps like accessible vaporwave album covers.
Be supportive to Roxanne. Alton, where can we find you?
I'm at 8Alton8 on Twitter, where you can find all my great content, like me reposting all of the memes that we found here today. Or you can find me on youtube.com. Just search for Alton Plays, and I should be the first result.
And I can be found on Twitter at Your Very Good Bud, which is true. I am your very good bud.
It's true. I can confirm.
And this podcast also has a Twitter, which is at VGATWTOE. VGATWTOE.
VGATWTOE.
Where we have 2 tweets. Check it out. There's a lot of activity.
Great content.
So I think that does it. Thank you, Roxanne, so much for joining us.
Yeah, it was great.
No problem.
Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. I had a cool time talking with my pals. I'm sorry for, holding off on, my main play of, tilting it toward talking about centaurs. I was hoping for the halfway mark, but you know what? 75% mark is good too.
It was a great Tar Talk, which should be the name of
Tar
the
Talk.
podcast.
It's the name of the upcoming podcast.
Look out for that look for the announcement on Roxanne's Twitter, and we will see you next time. Peace.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, nerds.